Welcome back to Tokyo Scramble. This is our Read Manga series, a series where we're reading through the manga Blackjack ni Yoroshiku by Sato Shuho. It's a copyright-free manga. You can download it and follow along with us. If this is your first time here, go back to the first video. Start from there. I'll meet you back here. And if you're back, thank you for sticking with me this far. I hope it's been useful. We left off last time talking about how the doctors at the university, or the doctors in training university, kind of go through learning all of the different divisions, all the different things going on at the hospital in kind of rotations. Super rotato shiki. So let's pick up where we left off last time, really quick reminder. そして2年間のうちに And then, during those 2 years, それぞれが自分の進むべきかを決めていくことになる. So everyone, within those 2 years, everyone kind of chooses which path they're going to take. And that's what happened. So, let's continue. Lesson 13, here we go. So remember we had the naked guy on the table. Something wrong with his liver, I believe. Here we go. 間もなく春日部教授がいらっしゃる。今日は教授自ら執刀されるとのことだ。Okay. Already we're like 2 sentences in and there's a bunch of stuff I can go into here. So let's start from the beginning. 間もなく. The main word here that I would just like you guys to check out is actually ma. Ma is space. I mean, literally that's what the kanji means, ma. There is, you might also recognize the kanji as like kan. But it's a space, it's a measure of time. And this is actually one of my favorite concepts that you can really go into deep if you're studying Japanese culture, but also trying to understand the Japanese language. Mamonaku itself means like shortly, here shortly. So literally, ma, like this space, this time, mo naku, like there's no time. So with no rest, with no space, basically here shortly, he's saying Kasukabe Kyoju, the professor, Professor Kasukabe, ga irasharu. I'll get to that part later, but Kasukabe, the professor, Kasukabe, will be here shortly. That's what this whole thing means. So many concepts of time in Japanese have to do with this idea of ma. And there's a lot of words there's a lot of, phrases that use ma. So mamonaku means without space, without pause, so shortly hereafter. There's other words that you hear quite often. For example, maniao. Maniao means like to make it on time. Well, it can have 2 meanings. One can mean to be on time. And then the other meaning for maniao is to be enough. Like something can be enough. So, for example, for girigiri meeting ni maniatta. I was just in time for the meeting. Girigiri, like just. Girigiri meeting ni maniatta. I was just in time for the meeting. So that maniao means like fitting, ma'ao, like fitting into the space, yeah? Maniao. The other meaning for this, maniao, can be like to have enough. Like we had 3 meals a day. もう毎日3食食べれて、でそれだけでも間に合った。That was enough for me. That was enough. Even only that was enough for me. Having 3 meals a day. Yeah, 間に合った. Or, yeah. There's other things, other phrases. Manuke, for example, like manuke, ma nuke, like nukeru, to miss or to leave out. Someone who leaves out the space or doesn't understand the space, understand the time. It's like someone that does something and doesn't recognize or realize the most important part of that something and just does it anyways. And they'll keep on kind of like repeating it, the same mistake. They're kind of yeah, it's basically, it's like someone that doesn't pick up on like the main cue or doesn't really pick up on the main point of what's going on, or maybe something really big that's happening in the room. This type of person is like manuke or manuke. Manuke is also used, I don't know, if a boxer was to like let down his guard, you might call him like manuke too, also, right? Anyways, so anyways, the main point here is that this phrase ma, this is a concept of time. It goes back to a really basic concept in Japanese culture about the conceptualization of time, whereas in the most important thing is kind of the space in between. And this is something that's also true in Japanese art. It's really obvious. Like it's not so much the lines, it's the space, the ma, in between the lines. Or if you're talking about music, like if someone is bad at rhythm or they're like really terrible musician, you would say ma ga warui. I mean, you could say this about in a lot of different scenarios, but in the case of a musician, if you were to say ma ga warui, it would be like they have a really bad sense of timing. Like their timing is off, their timing is bad. But ma ga warui can be bad timing for anything, social situations as well. So, ma. Anyways, that was a lot for one line. Mamonaku here shortly after, without any space. Ma monaku, no, without even any more time. Kasukabe Kyoju, Professor Kasukabe, ga irasharu. Irasharu is the formal, the keigo for well, he's going to come is basically what they're saying. So if you're just asking in regular Japanese, you might say something like, if you're saying this, maybe Kasukabe Kyoju ga kimasu. Kasukabe Kyoju ga irashaimasu. But irasharu can also mean like iru, like imasu, to be there. Irasharu can also mean that they'll like come or they'll go. So irasharu, yeah, it's the keigo form of like iku, kuru, iru. Yeah, irasharu. Okay, moving on. Kyou wa, today, kyoju, mizukara. Mizukara means he himself, or they themselves, or she herself. So mizukara, that's all it means, he himself. So today, the professor himself, he himself, shito. Shito is like making an incision or doing the actual cutting part of the surgery, like making that cut. Shito sareru. Sareru is usually a passive form, like something being done to you. So for example, like if I was to say, okay, punchi suru, punchi, like naguru, to hit somebody. So punchi suru would be like I'm punching. If I was punchi sareta, I was punched. Naguru, nagurareta. No one, I don't really know if anyone would actually say punchi, but punchi suru, punchi sareru, naguru, nagurareru. The sareru means it's happening to you in most cases. However, there's one more use of the passive form, and that is actually it's respectful. So if you have someone above you, or like someone high above you, one type of keigo, one type of formal language you can use is by putting something that they're doing in the passive form. And it doesn't actually mean it's passive, it's just by putting it in passive form, it's like showing respect for that person. So, shito sareru is he's going to be making the incision himself. とのことだ. To, remember whatever is before to, we just kind of put in quotations. No koto da. This is what it is. So today, this is the deal. The deal today is that the professor is going to be making the incision himself. That was a mouthful. I hope that made sense. Okay, so here comes Kasukabe Kyoju. And there he is, the man himself. God hand, Kasukabe Kyoju. Oh, sorry. God hand, Kasukabe Kyoju. Mogu mogu. He's kind of like mogu mogu is like a kind of like a chewing sound or like a moving your mouth sound. Eidai, short for Eirokudai. Eidai no kiseki. 手術歴30年にして手術ミスなどの失語トラブルは一例もない。God hand is something, God hand. God hand is something that you hear frequently for like doctors, or I've heard of chiropractors referenced as like God hands, or it's someone who's just like really, really highly skilled and has like the magic touch, like they have like the touch. So God hando, Kasukabe Kyoju, Professor Kasukabe's God hando. It's a miracle of the Eiroku University. Shujitsu is surgery. Reki, 30 nen. So like Reki, just like history. If you ever see this, it has to do with history. So in 30 years of his 30-year history of doing surgery, nishite, the shujitsu misu, a mistake, some type of slip up or mistake, nado, or something like that, no shitsugo, post-operation trouble, some type of post-operation complications, wa ichire re is like the same kanji as like example, like tatoeru, like re. So ichire, one example, mo nai. There's not even one example, te koto ne. There's not even one example. It's a miracle of the Eiroku University. In 30 years of surgery, there's not even one example of a mistake during surgery, anything, or even complications after an operation. Okay, so he comes in. Everyone's standing around. And he says, mess. This is a mess, the razor that they use to do the surgery. Mess. Okay, so everyone's focusing quite a bit. He's still making that weird chewing sound, mogu mogu, mogu mogu. And he's like some serious focus. What? I guess he's made the decision, he's going to make the incision. And he made the cut. If you look closely, the cut is, he literally made the cuts like that big. And here he goes. Unagi to wa chigau mon desu ne. Unagi to wa, it is a different mono, mon. It's totally, this is a different thing than sea eels, than eels. Actually, I think it's freshwater eels. I'm not sure. And he's done. Migoto na kiriguchi desu, kyoju. Sore ja, ato wa tanomimasu. 私は研究に戻ります。見事な。見事な, if you look at it, 見 is look, こと is thing, so it's a thing to behold, is basically what it means. It's a thing to behold. 見事な、切り cut, 口 mouth or opening. So it's it's a thing to behold. It's a thing of beauty. This your incision. です、教授 professor. He's like, yeah. それじゃ means okay, and that's what it means. Okay. So あとは after that, after あとは頼みます。頼みます is to request. I mean, 頼む literally means to request something, but this is a really common use. You use the word 頼みます like I leave it up to you. I'm requesting of you to finish it. I'm requesting of you to do it. I've left it up to you. It's now in your hands. So, really common thing you'll see is, maybe a manager at work or something will give a assignment or one of their tasks. They'll give it to someone who works under them, and they'll say something like, 頼んだぞ. 頼んだ, like the shortened version of 頼みました. 頼んだぞ, meaning like I've already asked you to do it and it's in your hands now. So 頼みます, 頼みました, or 頼んだぞ, or 頼む. If you're asking someone to do something, you can sometimes, if you're asking your friend for some help, and you make kind of like a request, you're like, come on, man, help me out, come on. You might say something like, 頼む. Like, please, 頼む. お願い. Okay. And he continues, 私は I will 研究に戻ります. I'll be returning to 研究, to my research. Patam, that's the sound of a door closing. Shujitsu wo tsuzukeru zo. そこの研修医、こっちに戻れ。何だったんだ今の。This is this doctor right here. He's saying 手術を surgery, something about it. 手術を続けるぞ. All right, guys, let's continue the surgery. 続ける continue. Let's continue the surgery. そこの研修医. Hey, you, doctor in training. You over there. こっちに over here. 戻れ. 戻れ. Remember, when you end with that re, it's a very strong command. So this doctor's obviously the superior. He's the underling. And 戻れ. 戻って or 戻れ. Come back. 何だったんだ? What the hell was that, is what he's saying. 今の. This, so many things in Japanese go unsaid. It's just kind of like understood. 今の literally is kind of it's not a complete sentence, but it's very common to say something like 今の and to reverse the order of things. So, what the hell was that just now, 今の? 何だったんだ今の? What was that? 何 as in like 何 what だった past tense. What was that? 何だったんだ What the hell was that 今の just now? この先生、早くはないけど、すごく仕事が丁寧だな。この先生. So remember, sensei means teacher, but also means doctor. So, この先生, this doctor. 早くはないけど, he's not very fast, but すごく仕事が丁寧. 丁寧 is to be very 丁寧 is to be very clean, proper, precise. Yeah. So clean, proper, precise, that's what teine is. If you speak very teine, you're speaking very clearly and politely and you're properly. If you're doing a very teine job of, writing, it might not be fast, but you're taking care to write. If you're doing like practicing your kanji, very teine, you're writing, taking care with each stroke that you're practicing writing, which I never did, and maybe I should have done more. So he's not very fast, but shigoto, his work, what he's doing, this is some really, really clean and professional work. I'm going to point out one quick grammar point, this wa. What's the difference between hayaku nai kedo and hayaku wa nai kedo? The answer is wa. We've mentioned before, like wa is basically used not as much as you think it would be used when you're first learning Japanese. Like they teach wa almost as that's like the first participle that you learn, and I think so many Japanese students, when they first start trying to like speak Japanese, or when let's say you study Japanese and you come to Japan, they use wa for everything. And actually wa is not used that much. Wa is basically used when you're comparing things, and that's really the only time. You're either trying to specifically point out something, or you're trying to compare it. So in this case, what we're comparing is the fact that it's not fast, but it's really teine. So this comparison, and the reason we're using wa, is saying he's not fast, but he's doing a really clean and proper professional job. Hayaku wa nai kedo is not fast, comparing that fastness with the teine. So, yeah, wa. Hope that makes sense. Let's go a little bit further. So I'm talking a lot today. I hope there's useful stuff in there too, and it's not just me blabbing away. Okay, they're sitting down eating, and this is Saito's friend talking. 自分が病気になったら絶対大学病院には入院しないね。自分が病気になったら if I was to ever get sick, if I was to get sick, なったら if I became 自分 as like myself, if I myself が病気になったら if I became sick, 絶対 I definitely 大学病院には入院しないね。I would definitely not get hospitalized, 入院 to be hospitalized, or to hospitalize, to enter the hospital to a university hospital. Again, you might notice that this wa, like we just talked earlier about wa, that wa appeared again. So again, quiz time. What does this wa mean? Yes, this wa is comparing something or specifying something. That's the only real uses for wa that there are. You're specifying something or you're comparing something. So what are we doing here? He's saying 絶対大学病院には 入院しないね. He's kind of, yeah, I mean, he's kind of specifying. He's saying, like, I would definitely not go into a university. Definitely the university hospitals. He's really specifying it. There's a bunch of hospitals. I'm definitely not going to that one. That one, the university hospitals, I'm definitely not going to go into those. I'm not going to be hospitalized at one of those. So it's kind of like, it makes it stronger. Like he's definitely not going to go into one of those university hospitals. So specifying. Okay. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit. すっぱだかで手術台に乗せられてさ、俺たちみたいな研修医にチンポ見られるわけだろ。Go just a little bit more. なあ、斉藤。合コンしようぜ。合コン。チンポばっかり見たくねえよ。Alright. It's kind of funny. So I don't really know how to translate this. Okay, so hadaka is naked. Suppadaka is like what's a good translation in English would be butt naked. Suppadaka. Hadaka is naked, suppadaka is butt naked. So suppadaka de shijitsudai ni. This is the surgery table. Table, right? すっぱだかで手術台に乗せられてさ。乗せる is to put on top of. 乗せられる is to be put on top of. So to be put onto the surgery table butt naked. 俺たち like us 俺 me たち us 俺たちみたいな guys like us 研修医 so assistant doctors like us doctors in training like us にチンポ見られるわけだろ。So チンポ見られる chimpo is like, sorry for the rough language, I guess in English it's probably the equivalent of dick. So 俺たちみたいな研修医にチンポ見られるわけだろ。I'm going to come back to this wake, but this basically means like if I'm here, it means I'm gonna have all of these doctors in training like us looking at my dick. So wake is it's like the case, the situation, or the reason, or I guess it can kind of be a lot of things, but it's put at the end when you're trying to say like it's the case that. So he's trying to say like daro, right? It's the case that, in this case, or if this happens, this wake, all these guys are going to be looking at me, right? Na, Saito. Hey, Saito. Gokon shiyouze. Gokon. Gokon is a Japanese dating practice. I don't know of any other culture that does it. I don't know what it is. It's basically like when you get together an equal amount of guys and girls, and you all go out drinking together. So if there's, five guys going, there's five girls going, and usually it will be like, like maybe like there'll be like a guy and this other girl, and I don't know, maybe they kind of like each other, but they're not ready to go on just like a straight date, so they'll organize gokon, and maybe they'll call their friends and be like, come on, I want to get, there's going to be these girls and I want to go, and there's going to be four of them and I need four guys, so come on, come with me. And yeah, they do like ninzo awase, like to get the same amount of guys and girls, and it's kind of a weird social event. Yeah. To be honest though, I've actually never been to Gokon, but I've been invited quite a few times as like ninzo said, because they didn't have enough guys or something. So I couldn't tell you about it, but it's very, very common. So he's saying, let's do Gokon. Gokon. I want to go out and see some girls. チンポばっかり見たくねえよ. I don't want to look at all these dicks all the time, is what he said. And excuse my language. Moving on. 無理だよ. 無理だよ. I can't do it. 暇もお金もないもん. だったらまた当直のバイトやれよ。一晩で8万ももらえるんだろ。無理だよ. I can't. It's impossible. 暇も I don't have the free time. お金も or the money ないもん. I don't got the time or the money for that. だったら if that's the case, また again 当直のバイトやれよ. Do that overnighter gig again. Do that on-call gig again. 一晩で in one night 8万ももらえるんだろ. You can get 8万, 80,000 yen in one night, right? 무리だよ. I can't do it. Impossible. All right, and that's where I'm going to leave it. We're going to finish up there. I hope it was useful. As always, if you have any questions or if you want me to go into a little more depth into any of these grammars or topics or words or whatever, please leave me a comment. Just let me know. I'd be more than happy to make a short or write you out an answer or anything. So let me know. Good luck with your studies, and I'll catch you next time. Tokyo Scramble out.